You're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Green Bay Packers content. Created for the fans by the fans. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know whenever we go live. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Packers_access. Go Pack Go. Enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk some Packers and kind of recap the Packers-Lions game from last night. We're going to dive into PFF grades. We're also going to take a walk around social media, see what's going on there. All right, gents, we are, almost 24 hours removed from the big game last night. Some was saying it was the game of the year. I think it definitely lived up to those expectations. Obviously, well over 60. Well, we finished with 63 total points. Am I thinking right? Ended up being 30. I don't even remember what
31, 34.
Yeah, so
65.
Yeah, so 65.
65%.
65%. That's what we damn.
Exactly
There it is. So, listen, mixed emotions. Obviously, going all across Twitter today. It was funny the Kansas City Chiefs fans got involved. That was very interesting. Didn't expect that turn. But, there's some whiners in that fan base, let me tell you. But anyway, see we got everybody falling into the chat here. We've got Andres in the house. We got United Bates, Daryl in here. Let's see who else. AFAM in the house just says, oof. All right, got you, Bob. Good to see you. Carl K in the house. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome day. Let's just get right into the comments real quick, man. Daryl in the chat says, good evening. Guys, I woke up this morning feeling out of place, felt robbed just as much as the Packers players from yesterday. Let's do this since we got Tim's face covered up. There we go. Obviously the officiating was a big talking point all over Twitter last night, and it carried over into today. It's one thing. It's one thing if you get a handful of calls, one or two calls. Oh man, if that had went our way, we might have won the game. But it was definitely hard to stomach the way it was called. I seen Chase Daniels. I don't know if you guys know who he is, former NFL backup quarterback. He chimed in. There was someone else too. Dan Orlovsky chimed in on the offensive pass interference on Christian Watson. So you had several different former NFL players chiming in like, I don't know, this is kind of a bad look. So very, very interesting to see that. For sure. the private chat there too, Amelia. That keeps me on track here for sure. I said it was Tim. I think it was you. It was you, wasn't it? All right. So Andres in the chat says the slow start was the big problem, not the refs. He went on to say, Andres says, yeah, the refs missed some calls, but do not forget that the first three drives were punt, fumble. Very true. Very true, Andres. Tough start. And again, those first down incompletions, man. You had one I think it was on the first punt that we had, that drive started with a first down incompletion. So anytime you're putting yourself in 2nd and 10 on a consistent basis, man, those type of things are going to happen. It's just going to happen. And you could tell when we did run the football early, it felt like it was there. I think we got that explosive run from Josh Jacobs fairly early as Chalk Talk. I've been working on it today. 19-yard run. That actually came in the 12-minute mark in the second quarter when they broke that 19-yard run with Josh Jacobs. But I understand what you're saying, man. Nobody's saying the refs are the only reason that the Lions won. The big point is every time that it got to a crucial play and there was a flag thrown, it's like 90% of the time went in the Lions' favor. That's the big thing for me. And like Matt LaFleur being pissed off on the sidelines, obviously we found out later what it was. It was pointing out like, bro, you just called us for a pick. And they literally – there was a guy that put a video out on Facebook. He's a Packer fan. 3 different times they ran pick plays. Also, did you guys see Brian Baldinger's tweet?
Yeah, the pick and roll.
Literally pick and roll. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and that's why Matty was so pissed, like just call it consistently, call it against us and call it against them, but don't call it one-sided. And I think that's what we saw last night.
Is it just because he put his back into him? Like that's why they can call it a pick and roll and not like a route? I really don't get it.
I don't either. I mean, the other time, though, when it happened, when they tried to attack the flat, they literally, I think it was their tight end Laporta, ran up and just punched
him.
McDuffie right in the chest, and then turned around. And so it's like obviously McDuffie's trying to get to the flat, running that curl flat responsibility. But
and that was the same thing. I mean, that was the exact same thing you just talked about that happened on that play with that Baldigger went over. But as you looked at it, Key was in a good spot. If Eric Wilson Eric Wilson should have just tackled the dude because he thought he was blocking him. I mean, at that point, take him out of the play. They knew where they were going.
And if anyone who's saying that play where Christian Watson is running a slant and he and the defender collide, right? If you're saying that's illegal or it's legal for the defender to do that, then I'm telling my guys on defense, hey, listen, boys, they run anything under 5 yards, run full sprint, and hit them right in the damn mouth. That's what I'd tell them. Like, seriously, that's exactly what happened. Like, my understanding of the rule has always been when a receiver's running a route, you're not allowed to engage with him, right? Now,
that's the problem. We all have our understanding of the rules, and then the league enforces them and interprets them how they see fit. Week to week. That's the issue.
Right. And with Christian, you could see he tries to turn sideways too. Like he
tried to get out of the road.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to hit the guy. He was trying to get to his route because obviously he's running a crosser. You want to get across the field as quick as possible. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I love the fact that to me we showed we could go toe-to-toe with the best team in the league. And on top of that, it did take a bunch of, like I said, calls to go for Detroit's way for them to win, by 3 points with no time left on the clock. So I really like our chances as we continue to try to build a little momentum going into the playoffs. You got that loss kind of out of the way, right? Now let's reset, finish the season strong, and hopefully we catch the Lions again in the playoffs. It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So, Daryl in the chat says, naming the player of the game, Josh Jacobs. He finished the game with 18 carries, 66 yards, a rushing, and had 3 touchdowns on the ground. Big day there, obviously, for Josh Jacobs. As it sits right now, I think he's second in the league amongst running backs in touchdown rushes. So
he's also second in our poll, currently at 27%, just behind Jordan Love at 43%.
Got it. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, hop into the poll question there. Make sure you get your vote in. The question is, who was your PTA offensive player of the game? Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson, or Tucker Kraft? And like Emilio said, Jordan Love still leading the way, 43%, with Josh Jacobs behind him at 27%. So let's see. United Bates says, we need better sustained drives. I think we lost time of possession by like 13 minutes. That's wild. That's almost a full quarter, obviously.
Yeah, 13 minutes, 31 snaps.
Yeah. He says, that works if you're hitting home runs every drive, but we are not. Very well said, Bates. And again, I think that a lot of that has to do with those first down. There were so many times yesterday that when we ran the ball on first down, even if we only got 2 yards, we were converting on second down, right? Yep. And then when you would get away from it, I think I got the first down chart. Yeah. So we threw 5 first down passes. Okay. That means not converted, a first down. It was first down. We decided to throw the ball as opposed to run it. We did that 5 times. We only converted 2 of them. And one of those 2 conversions was for a 2-yard gain. So it's like, that's how you play.
That could have been 5 extra carries for Josh Jacobs.
Right. Could have been. Exactly. If you're playing the law of averages, obviously, right? So Daryl in the chat says,
my law of averages. Get this man 25 carries per game or more. That's my law of averages.
When you do it, you win the game. Like, the stats are the stats. Yeah. Anyway, Daryl in the chat says, I think they were missing some important pieces to the team. Didn't have Jair Alexander, Romeo Doubs, and Edgerrin Cooper. I'm sure if it would have been different if they played. You'd like to think that 3 starters would have made a difference, but also all the starters the Lions were missing, you got to take that into account too, right? If they got 3 starters back, we got 3 starters back, you would imagine that's a push. And then, of course, you would expect the game to end up the way it did, if you're kind of talking in those terms. But Carl K says, chalk talk on bad calls. Send a link to the NHL. I think he meant the NFL. Is this just to get Detroit to the top of the league? ? Man, there's a lot of that chatter going on across the league.
Didn't you hear the announcers talk about it? Yeah, exactly. Ray must have given the information. The announcers were saying, can the Detroit Lions get to the Super Bowl? They need to get there.
Oh my God, I forgot we had that screen.
I got you, Clay. I'm not going to let you forget.
Oh my God. Yeah, so we hung out in here and talked for a little bit about Ray that was in the chat last night. So you're going to see his face on the screen from time to time.
Yeah. If you're listening on the pod, you're going to have to just come and check it out, man.
Just swing by for a second, take a look at Ray, and go, nope, never doing that again.
Yep.
And go, be right back out there. Okay. So, yeah, Carl K, good to see you in here, buddy. Listen, the penalties are going to be talked about on Chalk Talk. I think there's two that made it. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. It's just going to show, hey, here in this specific situation, this is when this penalty happened or should have been a penalty, some of those cases. So it will kind of show how it interfered with the outcome of the game. But I started off with 25 plays, and I trimmed it down to, let's see, we took 1, 2, 3 off. So Chalk Talk's going to be 22 plays. But, bro, it was like every drive. That was an important play. Dang, that was huge. So we're going to hit them. We'll just go rapid fire when we do it. Jason Y asking the important questions in there. Is my chat still blocked? Sorry about that, Jason. I'm going to get you a mug or something, bro. We're gonna get Ray back in here to moderate too. Sorry about that again. I felt so bad. I'm just so glad we got it fixed quick. But all right, let's see here. United Bates, that guy bought me a beer when I was 14. All right, that's it. Keep it moving. I trust Bates that we can put those on the screen when it comes to him. And,
right.
That's just not the case. So it is what it is. All right, let's kind of walk through Twitter real quick before we get to the PFF grades. PFF Green Bay Packers actually tweeted this out earlier today, and they said yards per play, Packers 6.8, Lions 5.3. Full data recap of Green Bay's loss in Detroit. They got a link there, obviously taking you to PFF.com. Man, when you are that much more effective on yards per play and still end up losing the game, you got to ask yourself, then why did we lose the game, right? What outside of the Packers outgaining the Lions on yards per play, obviously 6.8 to 5.3, what could have caused it? The turnover differential? No, we were even there. The middle eight? No, we won it there, right? So it's how did they end up with time of possession for so much longer, right? Longer sustained drives, but again, the big blinking sign is the officiating, right? Every call that could have gone one way or the other went in their favor for the most part. So that's the big thing that stood out to me when you're going through the numbers. You're like, okay, what the hell? Like, how did the final score end up? How did it end up that close when you're talking about?
It's tough that all those calls, Clayton, came on touchdowns or leading or the play before the score or whatever. You know, like Amon-Ra's push off, that was before the field goal.
That was on second and 17.
The pick and roll was a touchdown. Keyshawn's hold was a touchdown. So, I mean, all those would have added up. That's why I really wasn't – I mean, I wasn't upset with the defense. Yeah, we gave up 34 points. It's not great. We can't do that. But they played a good game besides the fourth down that they need to sharpen up. But now we know, all right, Detroit put a lot of screens on tape for us. You know, we're gonna hammer some of that out by the next time we play them. We're going to figure out fourth downs. We're going to, maybe let's look at our fourth and short, third and short, see what we need to do, scheme that up. And I think that it's going to give us a lot of things to look at and grow from, even though it was, an ugly game ref-wise and all the other stuff. But
yeah. Jason Y in the chat says that's because they ran it 34 times versus 24 for Green Bay.
And we only held them to 100 yards, 110?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good defense in my book.
And I'm pretty sure that Jason Y is Tim's burner here. We just found out.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, that's a great statistic there, Jason. Appreciate you pointing that out, man.
I think you're absolutely right too, Emilio, when you talk about the fourth downs. You got to know when you go up against this team that they're going to go for it on fourth down. And much to Clayton's dismay, like we talked about last night, we were getting 3 stops, but we needed 4. And they kept pushing the envelope. And when they needed a yard, they got a yard and a half, or they got 2 yards. And, we just didn't have enough to keep them off the field on those fourth and shorts or fourth and mid range. And I think a little bit of, overly aggressive play on those fourth downs, shooting a blitz when you could have stayed home, and it ended up biting us in the tail. So,
right.
We got to shore that up, not just against Detroit, but as we get near the playoffs, the season's going to grind down to a halt, and it's going to be win or go home time, and it's going to be fourth down territory all over the field when the postseason starts. So we got to get ready to get 4 stops instead of 3 as we close out the year.
Definitely 4 stops, Tim. And another way to look at that is the 4 out of 5 that they did get. That's 12 extra snaps. Yep. You get 1, 2, 3 more downs on each one of those. So that's brutal. That's terrible. That would have got, given the ball back to the offense, and we maybe could have ran it more, controlled the clock a little bit, and all of that would kind of daisy chain down. But no, that's exactly it. I think now that we know it's 4 down territory all over the field, I think we'll come out prepared. Maybe you play a different defense on first, second, and third, knowing that fourth is going to be your 3rd down or whatever, however they want to look at it. Just knowing that kind of defense, kind of like how when the offense is going in 2 minute, it's 4 down territory. We need to have a 4 down territory defense, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Holmes in the chat said X got his helmet ripped off. Love took a shot to the face mask. That was total BS.
That's terrible.
Again, man, it's every quarterback across the league gets that call. It kind of goes hand in hand right here with what we're saying. Jacob Morley tweeted out, I want to see the Chiefs play the Lions just to watch how it will be officiated. They're going to be so confused, not knowing how to call it. So true, man. It's pretty obvious that there are 2 teams in the league right now that are kind of getting the benefit from the.
I think we know who the NFL wants in the Super Bowl. We'll just put it that way.
Exactly right. And we got us a new YouTube member here, Jeremy Burtz. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Jeremy.
You are the man. Welcome to the PTA posse, bub.
Got yourself entered into the wheel of pinkies.
Yeah. Jason Y says, "Do you guys think we got outcoached too?" ? I was listening to Gary Ellerson with Homer just a second ago on their show that comes on pretty much right before ours does, a couple hours, and he was talking about how Hafley got circles coached around him. Right. I didn't really feel like it was like that. We talked about it all the time on Chalk Talk. We run a lot of Tampa 2, right, in cover 2. And the way that you attack cover 2 is you need 3 targets on one side of the field, 1 to stretch vertically, 1 to hold the backers underneath, and then a dig behind it. And you can attack cover 2 all day long. Now, if we switch away from cover 2, right, and we kind of adjust, people are saying we over-adjust, and if you end up losing by a couple scores, it's why didn't we do what we've been doing? Why didn't we play cover 2 zone? Why didn't we play cover 6? All these things, right? Really, the answer, Jason, in my opinion, is there's only so much you can do as a coaching staff. Like, let me give you an example. How many times have we talked about when Joe Barry was the defensive coordinator that you can't just cover grass? When you're in spot drop, that doesn't mean stand here in this one spot and stare at the quarterback. That means you've got an area that you're not allowed to leave, essentially, right? And you're going to cover receivers as if it's man coverage as they enter and exit your zone. A perfect example, if you go watch the Keyshawn Nixon interception, it might be on this reel we're going to show you in a second. If you watch him play that, they're playing Tampa 2, and his responsibility is curl flat, and he ends up picking the pass off on a slant. So why is that? He's reading the quarterback, and he's using common sense. Hark, there's no reason for me to go over there and stand before that flat even gets completed. Oh, look at this. He's loading up. He's going to throw the slant. Let me just jump this route. There was a lot of times yesterday, just same as with Joe Barry's defense, in my opinion, that you got guys just kind of standing in an area. You've seen it with Quay a couple times where there was passes converted underneath. And he, obviously I think Quay had a decent game. I can't remember what the PFF grades were. We'll look at it here in a minute. But there was a couple times it's like, Quay, clamp down on that, bro. Clamp down on it. Like, why are we just letting them have that easy completion? And especially if you're going to give the dig up to. It's one thing if you're taking the dig away and they're dinking and dunking you. But when you give the dink and dunk and they're hammering the dig and then they're hitting the dink and dunk, it's like, come on, something's got to give here. So this first play I want to show you guys. Anything you want to add to that as far as being out-coached, Emilio, Tim?
Yeah, if you're talking head coach, no, I definitely don't think that Dan Campbell out-coached Matt LaFleur. All he does is call timeouts and talk to the refs. So, no, I don't think that's true. And he says go for it on 4th down. So he does the 3 things for them and good for that. But, no, Matt LaFleur is definitely a better head coach, I think. You saw him fighting for his guys at the beginning there with the dude in the flag and all that. So for that. And Jeff Hafley, like I said, if it weren't for the penalties, yeah, we need to, put those aside, and we should have just made the play. I wasn't I wasn't mad at the defense. He caught us in a couple of them. You're going to do that. They get paid too. They also had 31 more snaps against our defense. So you can only run so many coverages until you're going back to something else that, maybe there's a tell, maybe there's something that we do too much. And we can pick that out and try to clean that up.
No, I agree. I don't think we got out coached when it comes to the head coaching, but I do think we got out called. We got out play called on a couple of these sets. We got caught being a little overly aggressive, and then we got caught being a little too tentative on defense today. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I think there was, a few plays we'd like to have back. Some shots that we probably should have taken, but not at the time that we took them. Great play call, wrong time to call it, kind of thing. And I agree with the sentiment. I don't think, I really don't think Dan Campbell's doing anything super special there or anything different than he's done in the last couple of years. So I don't think he outcoached Matt in this game. I would agree with that statement.
Got it. Greg Rice in the chat says there was BS calls, but if we do not start pass happy, we would have won, in my opinion. Kind of what we're talking about seems to be the theme tonight in the chat for sure. Milltown Corey says, definitely think they got out coached from the start. The play action fake to start the game is stupid. Just like the 97 Super Bowl, hit them with the run first, then fake. Obvious poopy. All right. Again, the play action to open the game, it kind of felt like it was predetermined. Hey, here's what we're going to do, as opposed to what's the defense showing here. I think sometimes, too, they get pass happy because they are loading the box. The issue is that's going to happen. You're going to have to run against a loaded box. Until they shut it down, at least go out there and establish the fact that, hey, we're going to run the rock here, right?
If I'm not mistaken, did we come out in the second half and run the flea flicker on first down?
Yes, sir, we did. Yeah. That is correct.
So that was a dumbass play call, too.
Tim, tell us how you really feel.
That's how I really feel.
Bro, it was when I seen that, it wasn't, I don't think it would have been our first possession. Actually, our first possession in the second half, we scored. Okay.
So it was the one after that then. I know it was a first down.
And to me, it's just as frustrating because you just went right down the field,
right,
scored, and then the next thing is, you know what we need here, guys? Let's run a flea flicker.
No, what we need to do is hand the ball off to Josh and start blocking.
Yeah. And quit trying to be cute. But again, now listen, there was some positives in the game. We're going to hit on positives and negatives tomorrow during Chalk Talk. There'll be plenty of both. I promise you that. Just sent a couple tweets out earlier today where I was just kind of going through and watching the tape. And this first one we got here says, Love is that dude. Fourth quarter, 7:57 to play, down by 3 points. So imagine this whole scenario here, guys. You're down by 3 points. You're under 8 minutes left in the game. Need a play. And I want you to watch this throw right here from Jordan Love. First of all, watch him navigate the pocket. All right, play action look. Free runner, Josh Jacobs. Now, listen, I've seen people – let's address this as we go. I've seen people roasting Josh Jacobs. But keep in mind, that's a play action pass.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of ground to cover there in an instant.
That's a 22 fake, right? Or no, let's see, even 23 fake, even or odds to the left. So you're running a 23 fake and then asking the running back to come back across the quarterback and try to block.
The only thing he could have done is like sometimes when they just say, screw it, I'm not even running the fake, and if like, but he didn't see the blitz coming at that point.
Well, it didn't help that Zach Tom's not blocking anybody on this play at all.
Yeah, very true.
He's waiting for the chip from Tuck, and Sean Ryan, that's tough. It ran a stunt, but maybe passing one hand off to Josh and then be ready to step back outside. Can't keep staring at you. Where you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do there, man. Is you got to work in unison. But again, that's not the point of this clip. Watch Jordan. Elude it. That throw right there, guys. It reminds me of Aaron Rodgers' first touchdown pass that he threw on Monday Night Football as the starter, I should say, to Corey Hall. I was in the house. And look how it comes by his ear. You know what I'm saying? Like he's throwing across his body while avoiding two defenders. And you can't throw that.
I'm looking at the footwork to just get that throw off. Bingo. I mean, he hit him with the Michael Jackson smooth criminal moonwalk thriller dance move to spin his way to create space to even throw that ball. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, rather than try to tuck it too and run. And
Yeah.
look at where the ball placement is. Seriously, look at where this ball is. You can't throw it any better.
I love how at the very end he got squared up too, like coming out of that move.
Yeah,
like Jordan got his feet under him, squared up, and rifled this. Look, bam, both feet set, stepped into it, and
like a little hop, right?
Yep.
Maybe a younger Jordan would have tried to do a one hop pass there, but he knew he needed to reset, and I needed to get it across the field. I love that. And then on the TV copy, you see how close it is when it lands. But then pay attention to Matt in the back. His facial expressions were unreal. I'll see if I can find a cut and send it to you. But man, he was like, no, yes.
Love it, man. So again, Jordan Love playing really good football in my opinion, man. He really is. I think that was that his highest graded game of the year? I think it may have been. Now he had one where he's in the 90s. So I think he finished in the 80s in terms of there against the Lions yesterday. So
speaking of finishing in the 80s.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Lord have mercy. That head's worn out 3 bodies, man. I'm just telling you right now. Look at that placement right there. It's a little bit different, a little bit better view there, zoomed in, as you can see.
Good job by Scoot to pick up another like 4.5, 5 yards there at the end, too.
Look at that. You kidding me?
That's Emilio's play right there. That's the definition of let her rip tater chip there.
Oh, absolutely. No. Especially, I mean, you got to come back to him, right? He had that fumble early. Keep working it. Dude had over 100 yards.
Yep.
He's been crushing it past couple games.
Yeah, we said when we faced cover one man, we were going to see these crossers, right? And there they were. So, again, shout out to Jordan Love and Christian Watson. I know Christian Watson
has Carlton Davis too. Did he get cooked again on that one? That poor guy.
And then you see Kirby Joseph coming in the end as they're out of bounds, and he shows Bo Melton in the back, being the wonderful person he is, obviously. So, all right, so here is another one. This is the deep shot to Christian Watson, and all I pointed out here on the tweet was he continues to improve his deep ball. Great balance on the platform, holds the safety with his eyes, quick, clean release, and absolutely perfect accuracy here. Let's roll the tape. We got this one in slow motion as well. Watch his footwork. Look how far he's come, right? The drop, watch him hold the safety. Now let's let it rip. And you can't throw this ball any better. I love how he kind of fanned him back outside just a touch, right? So just a beautiful, beautiful throw. Did you guys see the TV copy where they were talking about his eyes? Where you could see he had his head like this, but his eyes were looking over the whole time?
Yep.
Freaking beautiful, man.
Great job by Scoot tracking this one, too, over the shoulder. He had that drop last week. Yeah. Similar play. Now, no problem on this one. Great ball, great catch.
Mr. C. Davis had a rough game against Christian Watson. He does not want to see him in the future.
That's a fact. So we got to be careful here with some of these that we've got in. There's a couple TV copies we'll get to. But I put Jordan Love using his legs to move the sticks on 2nd and 12. That knee is a thing of the past. I don't know if you guys seen that. I think I've got it added in later on Twitter. I'm not sure if I did. This next one, though, here's a negative. I said the Eric Stokes experiment is over, man. We got to stop taking snaps from Carrington Valentine and see what Kalen King can handle, too. You just can't play this any worse. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys or not, but, like, the point is – I think Halfley understands. The point is you can't play it any worse. So why are we so concerned with trying to put Stokes out there? And it's not like, well, he just had a bad game. Guy, it's happened. I mean, we're talking 3 years now, right? And let's roll the tape here and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, this is – you're on an island. It's man, don't get me wrong, but, like, you can't – you can't –
like, at what point do we just not let him play press like this and just tell him to back off a little bit? Because, I mean, he was roasted. He was roasted as soon as the ball was snapped. It was over.
The thing with me, Tim, too, is, like, it's pretty much cover zero, man. Now, you see McKinney kind of spying the QB there a little bit. But, when you're playing cover zero, man, I don't know of a defensive call, honestly, inside the 5 where you're not playing bump and run. But let's say he did play off. I still don't have confidence in him playing off and being able to play what we call catch man.
Right.
Like, it's just bad, man. And when he came out of Georgia, right, when we drafted him, the scouting report was amazing athleticism and speed, great man coverage corner. And he has not been a good man cover corner in the league since he got here. So again,
just kind of the way his footwork sets up, he moves his left foot forward and kind of drops his right foot back, almost like he's going to funnel him out, and he just gets worked inside immediately. I mean, it was one head fake and go.
Where's the jamming this guy? Like, why are you not right here? Well,
right.
Get hands on him, man. Get physical.
It feels like Savage all over again. It's like if you're going to make a mistake, make it big.
Mm-hmm.
When you're half in, half out, you're going to get cooked every.
You can't let him. Yeah, you can't let him dance that much in the beginning. As he's taking his 3 steps into you, go and either engage
him on his butt.
Right.
Yeah. And this ain't St. Brown, guys. This is Tim Patrick.
Right.
Like it.
He's got to watch the hips.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. And again, I hate singling players out unless it's a positive thing. That's just how I roll. I really don't enjoy that. But, man, it's hard not to see that and go, okay, guy, come on, enough's enough. Listen, I'm not saying you cut him, right? But stop taking snaps away from Carrington and away from we hit on those numbers the other day. You guys remember that stat we showed where it was 999 snaps, I think they said, and he didn't have a pass breakup or an interception, he being Eric Stokes. And then when you looked at the numbers compared to Carrington Valentine, the numbers were significantly better. It's like as a fan, and again, I don't know more than the coaches. Please don't take me the wrong way. But what is it you're seeing? Like, they're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the analytics. They're looking at everything we're looking at. They're grading the player. You're not going to convince me that was a +2 grade on that play, right? Like, it's just not happening. So the only thing I keep coming up with, and I don't want to be that guy, but it really feels like that, is the same thing with Savage, is he's a first-round pick, and by God, we need to play Goody's first-round picks, hell or high water. And that's just, I feel like that's a scary place to be as an organization. So, all right, here is this is a nice run. So this is the this is the explosive run by Josh Jacobs. So we're in 8-11 pony on this play, as you can see, and going to use a little pre-snap motion. So you got Jaden Reed and Josh Jacobs in the backfield, and Josh Jacobs running through a arm tackle of the defensive line. Great job by Sean Ryan getting his feet turned back around. Look at Christian out there blocking. So this was the big explosive run of the day, obviously. Really like what they're doing with the pony package. You probably should have done a little bit more of it. Felt like they didn't do it much last night. Do you feel the same way, Emilio?
Yeah, you saw a couple of them, and I like when they run the pony, and then you get Josh Jacobs kind of coming in motion behind Jordan Love, and then gets almost a pistol look, gets it downhill, chugging the legs. But yeah, use Jaden Reed. He's a threat. Get him moving. You see all 3 linebackers actually shift. One leaves completely, and then you run to where that far right linebacker was, and you get a good block behind Zach Tom, run behind your good offensive lineman.
Yeah. So there was like I said, a good run by Josh Jacobs. Here's the Rashawn Gary sack. We'll hit it real quick as he beats Panay Sewell. Look at athleticism. Great job by Quay there, washing it out on the game, right? And Rashawn Gary getting that sack. Look at the athleticism of Gary right here. Watch him make Panay completely commit and then right back around.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's some people that think that Rashawn has lost a step. I just don't see it when I turn on the tape. I do see how they're asking him to rush from time to time. But right here, great play call by Hatley. And obviously Rashawn Gary's got the athleticism to make that play work. So nice to see Gary get another sack as he's continuing to heat up here the rest of the year. All right, let's just go ahead and get into I got to be careful with those up top there. That was where we were doing battle with the Kansas City Chiefs fans earlier today. I want to make sure there wasn't nothing else I missed. I know we broke down a lot of play.
Speaking of Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Oh, there he is. The old boy.
Right there. That's my guy. Actually, we do got a couple in here we need to hit. So let's just stick with it real quick since we're talking penalties, right? We got to be careful here. But here's one of the pick plays. Look at McDuffie. McDuffie's trying to get to the flat, right? What is that?
That's a 5-yard block.
Yeah.
Is what we call that.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, great job to pretend to be running a route there at the end. But
yeah, exactly.
Other than that, it's definitely an early block.
It stopped at the top of my crow route. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So there's that play. And then here's the Keyshawn Nixon interception that we were talking about. So again, keep in mind, He's playing. This is a Tampa 2 call, okay? And he has got curl flat responsibilities, meaning he's playing the curl to the flat, all right? You don't let anybody get past you or beat you on a curl route behind you along the sideline. And if there's no threat there, then it's your responsibility to take the flat, okay? And watch Keyshawn at the bottom of the screen. This is just textbook. This is what we're talking about, how you're supposed to play zone coverage. You don't just sit in one space. Like if he was going to his assignment, he should be going to the sideline right now on that flat. But he's reading the quarterback's eyes. Just a great job jumping that route, man.
Here's the guy.
And I know there's people that don't like Key and they think he's not a good corner. And he continues to improve every single week. We're talking about something.
And we asked him to come back into the slot this game because of the injuries to Bullard and Evans. I mean, he was playing outside, inside, all over. But can you just roll it back to the start real quick? I just want to say, just eyeball Mr. Sewell there. And whoa, Nelly.
That ain't the only one, too. There was plenty of those on tape.
Look at that, boy. Look at that.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Great eye, Emilio. Great eye.
I do love going back to, like Emilio said, go back to pre-snap. You see Keyshawn take the ever so slightest step in here at the snap, kind of squares up, and right there, that left foot put him in position right there. That's where he won that battle.
Right, because he looked at the snap like he was going to kind of maybe drop into a cover 3, or he's kind of fade. That's like a fade away with his sideways looking at the quarterback, steps up and sits on it. Beautiful.
Yep.
Great job, man. Great job. So, again, another positive coming out of the game, Keyshawn Nixon continues to improve.
Holmes asked who has the running back on that one. It would technically be Keyshawn.
Absolutely. Yeah. You talking about
on this flat one. He has the responsibility of 30 down to the sideline.
Yep.
But
exactly. So he's looking to play a curl, probably a 7-yard break off. He'll cover the curl up to 7 yards. Or if there's nobody in his zone, you take the flat. So as soon as this receiver, I'm pretty sure this is the X. As soon as the X cuts in, his responsibility is to take the flat. Right?
Yep.
To hammer down. And I love he's like, I can still get there.
But he's still looking. Yeah, right. He's still looking at Jared Goff at that point. Didn't turn to run with Gibbs.
And his feet never stopped moving. So he was in a position to break either way there. If Goff threw that check down, Key can close in. You're talking about a 2-yard gain tops.
And again, it's a Tampa 2 look. Watch Quay, how he's prepared to take Laporta down the seam, okay? If he does go vert there, that's why Quay's deeper than all the other underneath zones. So it is Tampa 2, which means that Keyshawn is in the curl flat, like we said. So just a great job, man. And again, this is what we were screaming all year last year when we would call a zone call and guys were just standing out in space and not really covering anyone. Like you're covering players, not grass. As Coach Haddad said when he was on the show, hey, a blade of grass has never gained 1 yard in a football game, not one. So I did put this out too. Moment of silence as Pro Football Talk. They reported the fake George McCaskey Twitter account, which I was actually enjoying, to be honest with you. So moment of silence for the fake George McCaskey Twitter account as it's now gone. So sucks. We got a little bit of news on Javon Bullard. Not much, though. Packers safety Javon Bullard was on crutches on his way out of the locker room after suffering a right ankle injury. The secondary is being decimated by injuries. Now, listen, I'm going to be real about this. Javon Bullard, what we've seen from Evan Williams is what I expected from Javon Bullard, and it's been flipped, right? I expected Evan Williams to be one of these players. Obviously you drafted him, whatever it was, the 4th round, I think. You traded up, 3rd or 4th round. And, hey, here's a guy who can help on special teams, and he'll contribute a little bit with injuries. And I thought Javon Bullard would be that dude making plays that Evan Williams has been doing. It's kind of the opposite, right? You slide Bullard down to the slot. I don't want to see Bullard hurt, and I think the team is better with him on it. Don't get me wrong. The fact that he'll probably go to IR if that happens, the team didn't get better because of that. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend and put out these fake shockwaves like, oh, my God, what's the defense going to do now? Because he wasn't playing good football, right? He's been struggling. Rookies usually do. So it kind of is what it is there. All right, next thing, this missile right here. I don't know if you guys seen this one or not. We'll keep it moving. Look at this throw down the seam. Jordan.
Yeah, freaking laser beam, man.
he was on one last night, man. He was. I'm talking about on top of his game. We'll play it one more time, then we'll keep it moving. And for those of you on the pod, it's just Tucker attacking the seam. You see him look at the safety over, look the safety over.
It's a hot piss throw all over again, except it was man covered, or the safety picked him up and was on it a little bit more than the last one.
I mean, seriously, that ball placement is just unbelievable. An absolute dart. So, just like I said, running through some of the stuff we came across.
Shortest distance is a straight line. That's all Jordan Love thought. I'm going to put that thing on a line.
I like this one. Thought this was hilarious. The Chiefs fans were trying to tell me that Pat Mahomes doesn't flop, and I said, somebody call ghost hunters. Mahomes clearly being attacked here. Look at this. Throat like somebody shot him with a dart or something.
Speaking of ghost hunters.
Oh, my God. Speaking of ghosts, you mean? Lord have mercy. All right, so here's another one. Let's hit this.
Do I believe it's on the edge, ticky-tacky? I do. By law, by rule.
La.
It's
No, you don't.
It's ticky.
Let's see what he says here. Seriously.
PI flag against Green Bay last night. Obviously, a massive turning point in the game. Okay. Do I believe it's on the edge, ticky-tacky? I do. By law, by rule, sure. It's really, it's ticky-tacky for me. If I'm a Lions fan, I probably agree with the call. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm probably losing my mind. Okay, so let's start with what is allowed and what isn't allowed. So the ball gets snapped on the 6-yard line, okay? You can see the ball snapped on the 6-yard line. Offensively, you get 1 yard from where the ball is snapped to create picks and to essentially block a player. So Christian Watson has, because he's an on-the-ball receiver, there's no tight end on this spot. He's on the ball. He has till the 5-yard line to legally pick and block a defender, okay? So that starting point, he makes contact with Kirby Joseph on the 4.5. It's close. I mean, you can make the case that they're making contact on the 4 3/4 of a yard marker. So his foot is still on the 5-yard line when he kind of makes that first contact. I also think that you can make the case. I mean, does it look like he's running a route? Does it look like he's trying to make contact with Kirby Joseph? It's again, that's all subjective and judgmental. That's really close. I don't think you can make a definitive declaration that he's trying to go contact him or block him. I think he tries to avoid him in that moment right there. Okay. The biggest gripe is probably, and I want everyone to really pay attention to this.
Look at this.
When contact is made to when the flag gets thrown. Okay. Yep. I'm going to yell contact and flag. Okay. You're going to see the flag come from the bottom right corner. I'll try to flip this to get it as close as possible. All right. Contact. Flag. That's a long time. Now, multiple flags get thrown, right? You're getting 2 flags thrown.
They're all getting the message
side
in their
and back judge.
Yep. Damn.
That seems like a long time for that flag to come out.
Throw it.
And that is a really close call. Just a really close call. Again, I think if you're a Packers fan, you're furious in the Packers. And if you're a Lions fan, you said, we've had that called against us 500 times in the last decade, and quote unquote, one went our way. But that takes a long time for those flags to get thrown.
Well, I disagree with that. Apparently, you didn't watch this game because they had a lot of those go their way this game.
He also acted like Christian rocked him too. Like he was on the ground, like
he turned his body to get
his inside shoulder, didn't he?
Yeah, like dude, blew out my shoulder, dislocated it on that one. It was crazy.
Yeah, so Joe hit the nail on the head before Dan even mentioned it there. What pisses me off about that is the flag were not thrown. The flag were not thrown until the touchdown.
So we know exactly how long the delay from New York to the stadium
about 3 seconds.
About 3 seconds.
Right.
3.2 seconds.
About as long as it takes to get a message back from the moon, right, Tim?
Yep, there you go.
Oh man. This guy right here.
Look at Ron.
All right.
He was probably the one making the call. He was probably the one. He was in the truck outside doing the. He was relaying it.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Let's hit some PFF grades. Y'all want to?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Overall grade against the Lions was a 68.4. Offensively, 71.5. Passing grade, 82.8. Pass blocking, 61.2. Receiving grade, 64.0. Running grade, 72. Run blocking, 60.9. Defensively, the defensive grade was 62.7. Run defense, 58.9. Tackle grade of 76.7. Pass rush grade of 64.4. Coverage grade of 61.7. And a special teams grade of 57.9. All right, again, that's obviously against the Lions here in Week 14. Now let's go to the individual grades and what it looked like here on an individual basis. And Jordan Love led the way at 83.8 PFF grade. Absolutely awesome there. If we click on Jordan, let's see what his grade is on the year now. He is now up to a 76.8. So continuing to rise every single week. This really doesn't surprise me because you've seen him improving every week, right? Like every week you feel like he's playing better football. So obviously the PFF grade is going to follow. Dontavion Wicks, great bounce back game. 39 snaps, 78.6. So awesome game from him. Elton Jenkins, 72.9. Zach Tom, 72. John Fitzpatrick, only 6 snaps, but a 70.2. Can't ask for much more than that. Chris Brooks, 69.3. Josh Jacobs finished with a 68.7. And Sean Ryan with a 66.8. Sean Ryan continues to improve. What's his PFF grade up to now? Offensively on the year, he's up to a 58 now, so he's about to crack the 60 mark here real soon. Kadeem Telford obviously came in, and we know who the backup guard is now, right? Other than when Jordan Morgan isn't healthy. Played 8 snaps, 62.2, right? Sean Ryan left for a little bit and then came back is the reason that we've seen Kadeem Telford in there. Emmanuel Wilson, 66. Rasheed Walker, 61.9. Tucker Kraft, 61.2. Pretty cool because Tucker has been grading out in the 50s all year long. He's up to a 65 now. So he's really, really getting close to that 70 mark. As he closes in on that. Bo Melton, 61.2. Christian Watson, 58.3. Malik Heath, 56.3. Josh Myers, the grade went up, all right. Josh Myers, 44.7. The pass block grade is not a 0. It's actually a 13.2. So remember all that pressure we seen up the middle early on?
Yeah. Did you watch Kirk Banker's video on that?
I did not. What did he have to say?
He was so that play where Jordan Love got punched by Za'Darius, he was basically saying when it was third down, really loud in the Lions, we went to a silent count, right? So they're going, quick silent, 1 silent, silent 2, Lucy silent, Rosie silent, all that stuff. But he said most teams in the NFL now are doing the butt tap from the guard.
Yep.
So that the center can look at what his work, because Josh is the one making all the calls on the line. And you saw it at the beginning of the game. Every time he dropped his head and then snapped up, where we got called for a defensive jump a couple games ago. Every time he snapped his head up and he went to snap it, he's one looking down. 2, as he's looking up, the guy knows he's about to snap it. Kirk was also saying, we're not getting out to the field enough to snap those plays, or not getting out to snap the plays quick enough. So by the time that Josh has head is down and goes up to snap it, there's only 2 seconds left on the play clock. They're either going to snap it or it's going to be a delayed game. So I'm going, right. So the guy doesn't have a lot of took a lot of the guesswork out of it. So he took, A, B, C were all answered. He just took the jump once he saw Josh's head go. And the ball hadn't even passed Josh's back legs, and he was already engaged into Josh and getting past him. Right. That's a problem. Like, that's something we definitely need to hammer out. He said, I don't know if it's got to be a different silent count or a different snap identity in a loud space, but we're going to have that moving into the playoffs. That's definitely something that I'd like Matt to hammer out. Yep.
And again, the part you're talking about hammering out is get to the line quicker, right? So
one, get to the line quicker. 2, I do think that having a controlled silent count or having another option, because you saw Josh come over to Jordan in that, on the TV copy at the bench saying something like, hey man, he's jumping me when I'm dropping my head, or something along those lines. I would assume that's one thing. Either we need to add a new silent or we need to have an adjustment. You're not going to maybe trust Sean Ryan to do that. We've got to ask Elton to look over if that's going to be the move we go with. But I would trust Elton to do that.
Yeah, I think it starts with getting out of the huddle quicker.
Definitely.
Using all of that play clock is good so you can get intel on the defense, but you're breaking the huddle at 20 seconds, and then you're you're lining up and clock's ticking down, you're right. I mean, the defense knows you're going to snap it or you're going to take the delay a game, which we hardly ever see. We get the courtesy timeout nowadays. But either way, a defender can totally tee off. So you take that away without changing technique by, get out of that huddle at 25 seconds, 28 seconds or something. Give yourself a little time.
Yeah. Donald Krieger said it was a great video and it made a lot of sense. So you guys check it out.
It wasn't just that one play though. Like it happened all first half once they knew it was happening. Then we finally started to get it taken care of. But the place is loud. It's early in the game. If we had gotten a score in the first quarter, that game would have been 100% different. But running that 3-and-out punt and all that, it just didn't work in our favor.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. All right. So Josh Myers' grade on the year is now a 50.2. That's where he's at currently. So Jaden Reed had a bad day. It looks like 25 snaps, 44.5, and then Ben Sims finished at a 43.5. Those are your offensive PFF grades. Moving along to defense, Kenny Clark. Hey, we were talking about it, right? He typically turns it on the second half of the season. Well, it's getting late. It's getting late early, as they used to say. You know what I mean? 80.1, though, 52 snaps. And you could see it on the tape. Him in the running game, him and Rashawn Gary on a big 3rd and 2 where they get to run stuff together, and then lo and behold, they go for it on 4th down and they scored a touchdown. It's like another example of him rising to the occasion on 3rd down. And I want to give a shout out to Justin, Packernet podcast graphics guy. He texted me this morning and said, I completely agree with you on the 4th down, Clayton. He's like, because I know Emilio, you and Tim both said it doesn't bother you. You actually would rather them go for it on 4th down. And me, I absolutely hate it, man. So every time a team lines up to go for it on 4th down, like, we did our damn job. Get off the field. Right? Justin said he feels the same way. So now, of course, when we got that 1-run stop, right, on our side, don't get me wrong, I was hooting and hollering. But those others, not so much. So defensively, Kenny Clark, 80.1. Keyshawn Nixon, 76.4. Keyshawn now on the year. Yes, sir. On the year now, he's up to a 67.2 overall defensive grade. So about to crack into the 70s there as well. That's exciting. It's exciting too, guys, because we got him for 2 more years. He's under contract for 2 more years. Yep. So once again, there's your floor. Now let's go out and improve the cornerback room to where it's Keyshawn and someone else competing with Javon Bullard and obviously Carrington Valentine. Hopefully, I shouldn't say it like that. If Stokes is gone, right, then you're competing with Carrington Valentine and probably a Robert Rochelle. You'll get back on the futures or what have you. So, but Keyshawn really turned it on. Another one is Aaron Mosby, guys. 76.4 on 22 snaps. Doesn't it feel like, Tim, every week we're seeing something from him? Seems like every week.
Yeah, man. That guy's a high octane, high motor guy. I love the way he approaches the game, too. Every snap he gets, he makes a count and tries to make an impact. And he's kind of a spark plug, man. And someone certainly to watch. Hopefully he gets a little bit more reps here going forward. Yeah,
definitely. And his grade on the year now, 71.9. So his last 2 games, 73.9, 76.4. Really, really turn it up.
You see the snap counts coming up too, right? Yep. 10, absolutely. 11, 14, 22.
Yep.
He's slowly making his case to get more looks out here. And he could be one of those guys, as we fight the injury bug here, he could be a guy that steps up in a big way for us.
Absolutely, man. Especially the way even when we're healthy, right? We like to rotate very heavy at the end position. So Devontae Wyatt, 73.9, not bad. Lucas Van Ness, 68.4. Look at Lucas Van Ness's snaps, too, 35. Is it just me, or does it seem like he's getting better the more snaps he gets?
Yeah. Even with whatever happened to his thumb, coming off the field and still getting all those reps.
Yeah, they said he was distraught and had to go into the medical tent. I'm thinking that thing was out of place.
Yeah,
probably. Had to pop that sucker back in, tape it up, get back out there, big dog.
Yep.
So, week 12 against San Fran, 18 snaps at 82.9 grade. Last week against the Dolphins, it increased to 22 snaps. He had a 68.9. And then this week, it increased to 35 snaps, and he had a 68.4. So that's really, really exciting to see Lucas Van Ness continuing to – I don't know if improve is the right term, but he's definitely stabilized now, right? It's not, it's not as –
being more consistent at this point.
Yeah, more up than down for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Rashawn Gary, a 68.0 in this game. Obviously, he got the sack. And I haven't had a chance to look at NFL Pro yet on the Hurries and all that good stuff. On the year, he's sitting at a 69.8, so still having a down year, obviously, but definitely our best pass rusher on the team. There's no doubt about that. Zane Anderson, man, 53 snaps. I didn't realize he had that many snaps.
Here's the guy.
66.4. No more Zane Anderson slander from me, boys.
Nope.
I thought he played pretty well. Really do. JJ Enigbari, 42 snaps, 63.5. Quay Walker, 79 snaps, 62.2. And I know that's not like a crazy great grade, but you're noticing less 40s and 50s, right? If you were to look at his grades now on the year, he's about to crack the 60 mark. Guys, he was real low earlier in the year. So
take a look at his run defensive grade the last 3 games too.
Yeah. Very decisive, right? 91.4, 83.3, 75.8. Solid.
Not bad for a guy who can't play the run, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely improving, man. And much like LVN, a lot more stability. 62.6, 91.4, 68.5, 62.2. So you're seeing that new floor of right around the 62 mark, and that ceiling obviously up there with the 91 mark. So hopefully he continues to improve as well. Xavier McKinney, 62. Eric Stokes got a 60 grade. Now, obviously, there's a couple times we've seen him get cooked for touchdown. I believe it was 2 different times. That was his guy he was covering. I know there was at least that 1 touchdown.
That's terrible.
Carrington Ballantyne actually had more snaps than him, 46. So there you go. It's amazing he got more snaps, and you don't remember a play where it's like, man, Carrington got cooked there, right? But it just seems like it always tends to pop up with Stokes, that's for sure. Javon Bullard, this is what I was talking about too. It's only 30 snaps. I mean, that's a pretty good sample size in one game. His PFF grade's a 30. And I don't want him to be hurt. I want him to, be healthy and this and that so he can get those meaningful snaps. But it's not like we're missing a superstar player if he is out for a few weeks. So don't buy into that whole rhetoric that, oh my God, what's this defense going to do because Javon Bullard's out? I mean, when you look at the grades, the last 3 weeks it was an 84.9, but he dropped back to a 53.5, and then this week a 30. So very inconsistent. It looks like his ceiling has been 84.9, and that 30 in week 14 yesterday against Detroit was definitely his lowest graded game of the year. So how do you feel about Bullard, Emilio? Just on the surface, forget the grades a minute. Like,
I like the dude. I like the dude. Yeah, oh yeah. Way he carries himself, way he talks, way he works. Yeah, I think he's going to be important. I mean, Evan did have some flashes too, but like Evan's kind of teetered off a little bit as well, though. No, I mean he hasn't really been the Evan that we saw and were super excited about. And Bullard had a couple of those a couple of those things happened to him earlier in the season where we were hype about it, and then he kind of teetered off. But I think he started coming back. I like that his tackling's been solid. He's been getting through that, but. No, I'm excited about having him in the secondary in the future. But I was listening to Coach earlier, and Bill was saying, it's about rookies. You just never know when they're going to hit the wall, but at some point they're going to hit a wall. Yeah. And it's you never know when that's going to happen. You never know what it's going to be. But I don't think he's to that point yet. But I can see that coming, either for him, Evan Williams, anybody. But I'm definitely excited about him.
Yeah, Tim, you got anything else?
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. I like Javon Bullard a lot, and I think he's one of those guys that we're really going to be speaking highly of, next season for sure. Asked to do a lot this year. Started out on the back end, got moved into the slot pretty quickly, and has embraced that role and is doing the best he can. It's tough to watch him in coverage sometimes against some of these top tier slot guys, but we know he can. He can lower the boom, man. That guy's a thumper for sure. Right.
And they do ask him a lot to do that a lot, Tim. Go from slot corner to safety to slot corner to safety, in and out, just depending on who's out there.
Yep. And we'll see what's going on with the ankle. I'm assuming with no injury status yet to speak of. I'm thinking he probably misses at least a game. So it'll be probably Keyshawn in the slot against the Seahawks. But that's pure speculation. Don't quote me on that. But I do think that, like you said, with Evan Williams, too, we've kind of I don't want to say hit the wall, but Evan Williams is definitely I think the play's kind of plateaued a little bit as of late. He's been kind of dealing with nagging injuries himself and, playing pretty much, one spot However, being asked to do a lot of different things out there. So a lot on his plate for a rookie too. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like the last couple of games, his tackling is kind of, I don't know, technique's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. It seemed like even we saw that last night against the Lions too. It looked like he was just kind of flying around, not real good technique on a lot of those tackles. And I'm hoping that's not what got him concussed, flying in there with bad technique. Not to blame injury on a player, but these are things you look at with rookies, right? Consistently doing your job and not making those technique type mistakes, and they're going to happen because they're a young player. So I think Evan Williams is a lot like Javon Bullard. These are guys that those are core pieces for the future of this secondary, and we just got to give them time to fully develop, I think.
Yeah, Tim, I was honestly pretty surprised they didn't pull him out of the game after that stick. I honestly think his feet just kind of stopped moving, and he was attacking outside in instead of inside out when he was coming in. But, the fact that they let him play a couple plays, I was like, dude, got kind of rocked. But, okay.
Yeah.
And when you look at Javon Bullard, I mean, his tackling is definitely his strength, right? 85.2, 81.7, 83, 80.3, and a 79. So that's definitely the strength in his game. And you guys were talking about Evan Williams there a little bit too. Let's see where we're at on the year with him now. So his PFF grade is now dropped to a 74.7. And what you mentioned, who you were talking about tackling for him, is that right?
Yeah.
He might have gotten concussed. It's 27.2 was his tackle grade in that game. So
yeah, really the last two games. I mean, even his numbers against the Dolphins, you could see the taper off there.
Yeah. Starting to play like a rookie now, right?
Right. And had a good game against San Fran with 36 snaps, but then you go to Chicago and Jacksonville with 71 snaps in Chicago and 18 in Jacksonville, still wasn't great there. So maybe hit a wall, kind of figured it out for a game, hit another wall sort of thing.
Makes sense. Yeah, definitely makes sense. All right, guys. That will be all as far as PFF grades. So I just wanted to take a look at that and kind of get everybody caught up in that regard. We're going to be doing Chalk Talk tomorrow night. We'll be doing a morning show, though. Good Morning Lambeau at 8:30 Central Time. We'll get in here and talk about any other news that may have hit. We might hit on a couple other things, too. Just look at the new rankings, things like that, as far as where does the Packers defense currently rank, their offense after that game. Keep in mind, though, one more game than anyone else with the rest of the league having not played yet this week. So Chalk Talk will be, like I said, 22 plays, I believe. We'll go rapid fire. And just a quick recap. Again, the turnover differential is tied 1-1. Green Bay won the middle 8, 14-7. They had the explosive game 7-5. And those first down passes, we were 2 of 5. And you guys know, I feel like those are the 4 statistical categories, team-wise, I should say, that matter the most. So Ron Sample in the chat says McDuffie in coverage in 2 games, 23 snaps, 20 completions for 200 yards. Yeah, coverage is definitely not McDuffie's strong point. There's no two ways.
We've said that all along.
That's where we miss Coop.
Yeah,
big time.
Speed of your defense is set by the middle of your middle linebackers, by the middle of the defense. It's tough when McDuffie's out there, man. And not a knock on him. I love him in run defense. But you saw it side to side. Agility is not where, on like a Texas route, it's a wrap. I mean that. I kept cringing every time we saw Mike fire. It should have been Will fire. Leave Quay back there to do the coverage. Let McDuff play downhill and smack somebody in the mouth. Right.
But we know he's not a coverage guy. That's actually, 20 completions, 200 yards. It's not bad for McDuff in coverage. Yeah.
Well, and even it was tough on Eric Wilson. He didn't grade out super great, right? Either Clayton. He wasn't doing
right.
Let me just see. Yeah, Eric Wilson was 15th on the team with a 52.5. So him and Isaiah McDuffie were right next to each other at a 53.8 and a 52.5. So Quay is that Mike, man. He is holding it down. The only thing that I was wondering was why did McDuffie and Xavier have 80 snaps and Quay only had 79? Could have been, just a tie in a shoelace or something, but just something.
They might have pulled him after that extra.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yeah. That's right. Yep. That could.
But can I just say this too?
Please.
So, please. So, you guys seen the acting job that Skipper did, right? Flailing around on his arms when Quay.
Amon Ra had one too.
Yeah, oh yeah. They're an animated bunch, no doubt. So seeing that acting job, and then you get to the locker room, and poof, who's in the middle of the locker room, right in camera shot, having to throw up? It's Skipper again. It's like, look at this guy right here throwing up. He laid on the line. It's like, well, this doesn't look staged at all, right? Like, there's nothing I love more when I'm about to puke than to try to find everybody in the house. Let me go in that room. Let me grab a bucket. Let's go in there and stand in front of everybody. It just seemed a little weird to me that the dude that was flailing his arms around and trying to win a damn Oscar when Quay barely touched him. Someone said, man, Quay must be able to bench press 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
The way he threw
Must
that.
have upset his stomach or something.
It's crazy. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of weird that now all of a sudden everybody getting there with the cameras in the locker room and Skipper's right in the middle of the locker room throwing up. Just seemed very dramatic. So anyway. All right, that's it. Like I said, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. It should be a lot of fun. And everybody in the Patreon group, again, thank you guys for supporting the show and obviously our YouTube members. Listen, a loss like that sucks, but you've really got to take a step back. I think Pac Daddy said it best. Ryan Schlipp said it best on Twitter today. He said, man, why is everybody acting like we still don't have a shot to win 12 or 13 games here? Not – and we all say everybody. I'm as guilty as anyone. Obviously, it's not everybody, but the loud ones is like, that's the best team in the league, right? And we just lost by 3 points on the road. Once again, the spread, right? We'll be talking about the spread between 3.5 to 3 points, right there on par. So you went toe-to-toe with one of, if not the best teams in the league. So I think it's a good learning experience. I think the team will come out better for it. And I guarantee you there's some calls that Matt LaFleur wish he had back too. So hopefully the officiating moving forward will get a little bit better because it was hard to watch. But
edit D's. How about that?
Shout out to Jeremy Burtz for becoming a member here of the PTA Posse on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. So with that being said, we'll see y'all in the morning. Tim, you good for a morning show? You got something going on, Bubba?
No, man, I'm ready to roll. We'll do it. Get the jitter juice flowing early. Let's talk some ball.
Heck yeah, sounds good. Well, like I said, we'll talk rankings, all that stuff, and then tomorrow night we'll do the chalk talk and go ahead and figure out again what happened, why did it happen, and that way as fans we can learn a little bit. Again, it's not because I'm teaching anything. That's the farthest thing from the truth. It's just we're going to watch the tape together and go, hey, here's a crucial play, there's a crucial play, what happened? And I think you're going to find the same thing I found. Like a lot of this stuff's fixable. It really is.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what this team does down the stretch, man. It's going to be a good finish for sure. So help me out here, Tim, if you can.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Go Pack.
and we go.
Bye, guys.